Hello, this is Gary from Countryside Farms. Wanted to show you some of the new options we've been working with in 2013. We've got what we consider to be a pretty nice thing. It's a removable wing section. So if guys have got the 12 or 16 row planters, want to jump around back and forth, or not sure what they want to do, they can remove this section right here. It goes back to a 13 shank, which would be the 12 row version, or lift with it on there would be a 16 row. Pretty simple to do. There's a support stand right here that would hold this. Once you unhook it, you would take the 2 bolts out of the black iron here, the stabilizer bar on the front and the back, and then there's 5 bolts across this portion in here. When you get those all off, this wing will just set here like this. You'll do the same thing on the other side, and at that point you're down to a 13 shank, which would be a 12 row. A lot of nice things about that. If you was going from a 12 to a 16, you got that option, or a 16 to a 24, or doing some custom work. Maybe you don't have a big enough tractor to handle a 16 at the time, and you are planning on buying a bigger one. So we've had a lot of interest in it, so we've built a few of them this year, and the guys I think are really going to like them. So wanted to point that out and know that them can be done. I think we can also do them on a 9 and 11 shank, which would be a 12 row going down to an 8 row machine. So we got that capability of doing those on either size machines. That kind of covers that. You can kind of look at the support stand. We feel that's going to support that wing section just fine. When you take all your bolts out, it'll just set there, and you can leave this support bracket on here. We'll just take the stand off probably when you're in the field otherwise. Your gauge wheels, plenty of hole adjustment there for those. 20-inch heavy-duty coolers. We've had those that way for a long time. Big 4-inch diameter, 36-inch stroke hydraulic cylinders for the fold. Them seem to do a real nice job of folding nice and easy fold over. Then we get into the center section here, and we try to do kind of a neat little thing here with these hose rings in order to get your hoses up out of there. If you had to change one, you can just flip them right out of there. Kind of keeps them in a neat little package so they don't get all tangled up. The whole Ravens mechanism there with the controls. We did add one kind of an on and off flag, just so you can kind of watch that thing move as your valves are controlling back and forth. You can kind of watch that red flag move in and out, so you know your valves are working. This here is your emergency rope pull. And we may be able to see that a little better from the back end, but that's, we just got that tied up there. But you bring that up to the cab, so anything happens when you pull that rope, that's going to shut all the ammonia off coming from your wagon. Your hydraulic hoses, your light wires, and your Ravens control stuff all mounts right here in a neat little area. So when you go to hook up, you get everything. Plenty of room in here to get behind the tractor to hook all your stuff up. We did come up with some lift handles on them support stands in the last year or so. That makes it really nice for picking up these support stands when you get ready to go to the field. Come around, and this wing is identical to the other side. Obviously, you can see it. We're going to want to, like I said, we're going to want to take these 2 bolts right out of this stabilizer bar here, and then there's 2 on the back here, and your 5 bolts in this wing section will just come right off. You'll pull your 2 hoses off and reconnect or block them hoses, as you won't be using them. The shank mounts are a double loaded spring. There's a spring inside of a spring. They work really well. They keep that shank down and that knife down in the ground very well. Our disc sealers, we got those. They'll run right about there like that. They're individual working. They're heavy enough to do the job. They don't need all them little extra springs and working parts on them. There's plenty of adjustment in here to turn and in and out and turn. They work really well. They got sealed roller bearings in them, so we have very little trouble with them. No maintenance at all. Then you come across, we designed these little hose brackets here on the shanks. Keeps your hoses from getting caught in these arms when they're going up and down, and there's plenty of movement there, so you can get them in and out of there when you have to change a knife. The little loop brackets, we've had these for some time now. These here are over to the side a little bit, so when this wing folds over, that the support stand is right here when it folds over, so it keeps them hoses out of the way of getting the pinch points. And the same way here, you got a bracket back here that keeps all these hoses. They just kind of make a nice gentle loop as you fold that thing over. Got good light package on it, flashers, turn signals in 2 different spots on each side, all your warning signals, and reflective tape. Got nice toolbox and a 2.5 gallon water container there with a little spigot back here, so you got some emergency water out in the field. This park and plug area right here so that you can hook your hose back on. When you unhook a wagon, you can bring your hose around and hook it back to that park plug right there. Your slow-moving vehicle sign, I am going to pop this off. We'll see if we can get a good shot of this little valve up in here. It's the little yellow-handled quarter-turn valve, and that is your half shot that goes to each side. So you get a shot and a half out there on the ends, and that's your half shot. So we put them on there to, if you're going to pre-plant, you can shut that off so you're not getting that extra half shot out to the outside, and if you're side dressing, then you'll turn that back on. So you don't have to hook and unhook any hoses that way, and that we put them on all the bars. Then we got our swing arm here with our quick coupler, quick release coupler on there in case a wagon would come unhooked. And then pretty much lastly is we've redesigned this hitch a little bit. Got a great, comes out an awful long ways, swings, got a lot of area for swinging. Once you get your wagon hooked, you just back up, snaps back into place. This is another little view of this emergency rope, emergency shut off. Your hose is coming from your wagon, circling right around, coming into the cooler. This is actually in the off position right now for shipping, but when you'd be out in the field, this valve would be a quarter turn and your rope would go up to the cab, so all you gotta do is pull it if you need to, something would happen, you need to shut that off quick. So that pretty much covers everything on the machine. We really wanted to show you what the new removable wing was gonna be like out there, and there's gonna be a lot of different times when that'll be a great help to people. One last thing I didn't mention is these machines are all powder coat painted. They're sandblasted, powder coat primed, and then powder coat finish coat. Many colors, the green, the red, like the cat yellow. We've done several of those this year, been really nice. An orange and a dark blue. So the paint is a real nice paint. It holds up well in the sunlight. I know some of these machines been out 6-7 years. They still look like new after they're washed and brought back out of the barn. So with that, I think we've pretty well covered everything that we've got on these for 2013 and beyond. So I thank you very much.